You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
What's going on, a&kfam? Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Alec.
I'm Kianna.
Okay, so here we are doing another mukbang. We're gonna run down the line. Before we do that, if you guys are new here, make sure you do click that subscribe button. Join the a&kfam. So before I do go any further, I have a little bobblehead of Thanos here that Andrew gave for my birthday. So Andrew is here in spirit because I know he would have wanted to do a Chic Fil mukbang.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be so jealous. Also Stephanie.
Yeah, Steph. So Steph can be
right here.
Yeah, Steph, when you're watching this, you're right here.
Here, this is her fake water bottle.
Yeah. Alright, so as you guys can see by the title, we are telling you our crazy stories from Italy. We have a list of names of people who went, but
we don't want to give them away because we don't know if, like, you know, obviously we don't talk to them anymore, so we don't want to, like, give names if they're not wanting that.
Yeah,
so we just made up names.
Code names.
Also,
so I'm gonna keep it here.
like I mentioned before, if you guys watched How We Met, my brother did go on this trip. His name is Dylan, so we're using his real name because I highly doubt he cares. But for everybody else, we made fake names, just generic, whatever we thought of on the top of our head. So don't try to like go on our Instagram and try to find these people because they're fake names. So yeah.
Alright, you can have the rest of this one. Well, I have to eat half, so you can have the other half, you know? We're not gonna like talk about the entire trip and like everything we did. We're just gonna talk about like the crazy, funny experiences.
Because we were on that trip for about a week and a half, so it is a lot.
Before we get started, I just want to say, the drinking age in Italy is 18, so it was legal for us to drink. Not saying that we're like party animals, but in the story we do drink because it's legal, but we don't do that here.
Wait, first of all, to drink wine or beer, it's 16, and at the time we were 17. Well, I was 17.
Oh yeah, it's 16. England's 18, yeah. Italy's 16, Spain's, yeah.
So, technically, the law is if you want any hard liquor, it's 18, but in Italy, they don't ask for your ID, so you could go and order a drink, and they don't ask for it because it's very like normal to drink there. So although by law it's supposed to be 18 for any hard liquor, no one asked.
I think the first crazy thing that happened, we were in Venice, and
so how many days were we on the trip?
This was our second night in Venice, our last night. And the hotel served, like, you can buy bottles of wine. And I remember I was in the hotel room with Frank and Chandler. And
that's not the real names.
Yeah, it's not the real names. But so we were in the hotel room with Frank and Chandler, and I guess Frank, don't worry, I'll memorize the names as we go. Frank got a text from someone, I forget who it was, and said, hey, you know, we're down like in the lobby and we have bottles of wine, like you guys should come and try it. So Frank went down and I didn't go down. I stayed up in the room with Chandler, and then eventually Chandler was like, hey Alec, you want to just go down and just hang out? So I was like, sure. We went down there. I didn't end up drinking, but that was like kind of the first night Kianna actually and I did hang out, which was kind of fun. And then we came back upstairs and like nothing crazy happened that night until the next.
It was only like people were only having glasses of wine. I don't even think I drank.
Yeah.
Like,
it wasn't.
I'm pretty sure me and Alec were like the only people that didn't drink.
It wasn't until the next day when, I don't know who ordered it, but I guess they didn't realize that you have to pay for it. I don't know why they wouldn't have thought about that. Remember this? And like before we could leave the hotel was trying to charge them 40 euros, which is like equivalent at that time.
A lot of money.
It's 40 bucks, like 40 American dollars, because at that time I think the ratio was like 1 to 1. The next crazy story was we were in Florence, and this was the first night we were there. We were in Florence for 2 nights. Yeah, 2 nights. First night in Florence, I was in a room with Frank and her brother Dylan, and we were walking around Florence, and we went to like markets and stuff like that. And Frank and Dylan, Frank, both had bought some.
Stupid.
Yeah, so both had bought some hard liquor. So at night, Frank and Dylan wanted to like crack it open and party, but I didn't want to. So I went up to Kianna. We were on the 2nd floor, and Kianna was on the 5th floor. And so I went to Kianna's room, and that was where all the non-partiers were. I think there was like 10 of us in the room. There was 25 kids on the trip.
Yeah.
So
yeah, everyone that like was like complaining about noise and stuff. They just kind of just chilled in our room because like we were people who just like didn't care if you could come in. Like we were just like, oh yeah, fine, like you guys can come in, like we'll just hang out and talk.
I remember I didn't have my shoes.
We were playing a game.
Yeah, we were playing some card game, but I remember I didn't have my shoes, and at some point I had to go back to my room to get my shoes because I wanted to like stay in their room for longer. And I went down there, and Frank and I go down in the hallway and I hear like a lot of people, and I turn the hallway to see my room, and the door's open, and it looks like there's 30,
wide open.
Yeah, 30 to 40 people in there. And in my head, I'm
like small ass like hotel room.
Literally like the room is like, think of like a twin size bed. There's 3 twin size beds.
Side by side, right?
Yeah, like one twin, and then like 2 feet of space, and then another twin, 2 feet, and another twin, and that was it. Like there was no room. And there's literally 30 to 40 people packed in this room. And I'm squeezing my way through them to try to find my shoes, and I see Frank, and I'm like, bro, what the f? Like, what is this?
Dude, we didn't even, like, he didn't recognize these people.
Yeah, no, first off,
I
I didn't recognize any of them. Second off, they were speaking Spanish and didn't speak any English at all. So, I'm talking to Frank, and then Frank tells me, fake name, that Jessica was in the lobby, and there was this other, like, school kids that were just on a trip, and I guess...
Spain, I think they were.
I don't know where they were. But one of them knew English, so Jessica was talking to them and basically openly invited them back to my room.
I don't know why.
Had a party. So like I got my shoes, and I just remember like the party going on, and Frank was just partying and drinking, and then Dylan was just like in the corner drinking by himself. It was really sad.
That's my brother.
I mean, I say in the corner by himself, but like he's sitting in the corner and there's people like packed on him because it was so crazy. But
he's kind of just doing his own thing.
I just remember getting my shoes and then going back up to Kianna's room because like I don't want to be in a room with 40 people I didn't know.
Yeah.
So,
who did not pretty much speak a lick of English. Like, I don't even know how they were communicating. Like
I know, it was
so weird because I'm pretty sure the people that were in it from the Italy trip that were like partying did not know any Spanish. Like I'm pretty sure all of us just spoke English. So like I don't even know how, I don't know, it was crazy. And then you went back to my room and I think you told me, you're like, oh, your brother is my roommate along with Frank. They're like kind of throwing a party in my room and I don't want to be there. So like I felt really, really bad because I was like, well, like my brother is like keeping him from like kind of just being in his own little space and just enjoying his trip by himself and like throwing this huge party of like 40 like Spaniard people and like I felt really bad, so I was like, okay, you can like stay here, and like if the party continues throughout the night and you want to sleep here, like that's totally fine. Like I said, like if you want, like we can share a bed, like it's okay, like I don't mind, because I felt so bad that I was like, my brother was the reason why he couldn't sleep in his own room.
Everyone on the trip had this bet that Kianna and I would hook up on the trip. Never happened.
But I think this was the day that like that bet started.
Never happened, but they had this bet. And it's because when I stayed with them, I slept in Kianna's, and these beds were like twins.
Literally so freaking small, like I cannot explain how small they were.
Like, it was literally like where she would, if she laid flat, there was only enough space for me to like lay on my shoulder and her leg flat, and that was it. Like these beds were
basically, in order for us to sleep comfortably, we would have to spoon. Like there was no way of that not happening.
So we weren't like spooning, but I was like, I kind of had my arm around her, and I could like, looking back on it now, she told me that she thought I was gonna like try something like sexually, I guess, but I was just tickling her and just like trying to make her laugh and smile. Sorrento, I want to say it was our second night.
I love Sorrento. If you guys could ever go to Italy, go to Sorrento.
No, Capri first. Capri's an island off of Sorrento. You have to take a boat there.
I remember that.
So
we weren't there for like a night. It was just a day trip.
So Helga had, I think she had like back problems or knee problems. So we had to walk from our hotel to the ferry
in the pouring
it was like
rain.
Pouring rain. But because Helga had problems, she had to take a taxi. So our plan was we were gonna meet her at the ferry and get on the boat together. So we get to the ferry and we don't see her, and we literally wait until the last possible minute to get on the boat.
Literally like seconds when they're like about to close the door. Like we had to run, like book it, all of us.
So we're waiting for
25 kids and like 2 adults.
And literally it comes to the decision of, okay, we don't know where she is, but we have to go.
Yeah.
So we get on the boat and Helga's not there. Like, we were like, okay, maybe she's in her seat already, but she wasn't there.
Yeah, we couldn't find her.
So halfway to the island, I think it was like a 45-minute like boat ride to the island or something like that. One of the other adults, there's 3 adults, Bob, gets a phone call from Helga. And I remember I was sitting in the boat. I mean, it was pretty long, but it had
were you next to it? Oh no, I was behind you. I was like a row behind you.
So there was like, it was 3 seats and then like a big aisle and then 4 seats, big aisle, 3 seats. So it was like kind of like a big type of plane thing.
It was a big, ferry.
But I remember Tom and Bob were 2 of the adults, and they were sitting next to each other, and they were sitting like on the window in the middle, and I was sitting on the aisle behind them. And I remember Bob gets the phone call from Helga, and he like shows us.
He and was dying laughing.
All of us just started dying of laughter because we know that she's calling to be like, where are you?
Yeah.
So he answers the phone, and he's like, he goes like this because he starts laughing. And then you can hear her screaming from the thing. And then he like stops laughing and he's like trying to hold a straight face, and he's just like, oh, like we thought you were there.
No, he was like, hello?
It was the funniest thing. But, so that was funny. And then, I think it was the same day because it was like super rainy, but we got back, the adults told the kids from 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. you can go out and go out to dinner,
roam around the city by yourself.
You just have to
just have to be in a group. You can't just go alone. But
I mean, the city's not like super big. You can't get lost.
I got lost.
Okay, maybe so.
I got lost.
So everyone's going, and Tom texts Frank and I. That's his name, right? Yeah, Frank and I, and said, "Hey, wait back. Bob and I want to go out to like dinner with you guys." So Frank and I are like, "All right." So we waited back, and then Bob and Tom came out. And then we start walking, and it's like pouring rain. And they're like, oh, we found like this restaurant / bar that we wanted to take you guys to. And we're like, okay. So we're walking, and Tom knew where this place was. But after 30 minutes of just walking in the rain, I'm like, bro, do you know where this place is? Or are we just walking in the rain? And he's like, I honestly forgot where it was 5 minutes into the walk. So we were just walking around for no reason.
Literally just trying to find this place.
In the rain. So we find like a little place, and it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just one of those places that you would feel like in like European movies or something, you would see where all like, if a soccer game was going on, they're all there like cheering it on. I don't know, it just gave me that kind of vibe. We were there, and then we had a few like Italian type beers or whatever, and then we're coming back because we had to go back at 10 o'clock, and we're all walking, me, Frank, Bob, and Tom, we're all walking, and Bob and Tom are like, hey, Alec and Frank, go in like 10 minutes before us so it doesn't look like we were with you guys, because they didn't want the other kids to know and get jealous that they were hanging out with us and not them. So we're like, all right, we understand. So we're going, we start walking off, and then Frank's like, hey, Alec, I'm gonna stop at this liquor store and get some more beers, because Frank is like a party guy. And he's like, you wanna come with me? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go back to the room, I'm kinda tired. So he's like, all right, I'll see you up there. I'm like, all right. So I go to the room, I go upstairs, get in the room, and our other roommate, Chandler, he's in there.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the whole time that this was happening, like, most of the time, since Alec and I were, like, talking more, we would kind of, like, do our own, like, we would try to meet up and, like, get in a group together. But since they were doing this whole thing, like, I haven't heard from him, like, all night. So, excuse me, sorry. So, before they left, and I found out that they were gonna, like, go out with Tom and Bob, right? Mm-hmm. Tom and Bob. I realized that he was gonna text me, not, like, to meet up or anything. So I was like, okay. But I just went, like, with a whole bunch of group of girls and a couple guys, and we went to, like, a restaurant, just, like, simple restaurant, and, it was pouring rain, like, literally pouring rain. And we, a couple girls and I decided to split up after, because I was like, you know what, it's getting late, like, I don't want to, get in trouble if we're not at the hotel by 10 p.m. So I was like, how about we just, like, walk on our own for a little bit and just, like, go towards the hotel. And so we're walking back to the hotel, like, stopping at a few stores, Meanwhile, like a couple Italian guys are like whistling at us and like trying to get our attention and like saying like, what's it called, like, oh, ciao bella and all this other stuff, and then we're like giggling and stuff like that, whatever. So like we're walking, and then what's it called, we hit a liquor store, and like so we decided to stop by a liquor store, and it's still like pouring rain. And so my friend who like told me about the trip, her name is, I guess I'll just say Sarah or something. So Sarah decides like, let's stop by a liquor store, just like get a couple waters and a couple snacks, and we'll just go back to our room, because she was my roommate pretty much every single hotel that we were. So she's like, okay, let's grab snacks, let's, you know, grab water, soda, like if you guys want to drink, sure, but like let's just like grab that stuff and like go. And we walk into this liquor store, and I see like everyone's staring at me, like literally looking scared, like they saw a ghost. And I was like, what the heck? Like, why is everyone staring at me? And then like Sarah like starts laughing and goes, oh, look in the mirror. And I had makeup just drenched, like black, like I looked so scary. It was black mascara run down my face. It was all like in my face. I looked so freaky. And I was like, okay, well, we gotta go back to the hotel, because I'm not gonna just go like this. And it's like, I looked like I took a shower, like that's how wet I was.
So I got back and Chandler was in the room, and I was just talking to him. I asked him if Kianna was at her room, and he said yeah, so him and I went over there and we were just hanging out with her. And then Frank comes back and he's like, hey, yo, Alec, like come to the room. I'm like, alright. So I go to the room and he's just showing me that he got like these cool like native Italian beers. I forget the name of them or whatever, and these, you know, just stuff you can't find in America. And he's just telling me like, oh, you know, we should try these and these. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I think I ended up having one, but I mean, he drank like all the rest. Like I said, he's like a party guy. Anyways, so we were expecting Tom and Bob to be 5 to like 15 minutes behind us.
Yeah.
And it's like 10:30.
Yeah, because it's already time for us for everyone to be back. So they were supposed to come in our rooms, like knock on our door, come in our room, and make sure that everyone's there, because obviously if you lose a kid, you're responsible. Yeah. So like they were just like checking. They were supposed to come back at 10:30 and like check our rooms. So we're all supposed to be in our rooms. Yeah.
So Tom and Bob didn't come back at 10:30, and I tried calling them and they didn't answer. I tried texting them, they didn't answer. So I was a little worried, but then at the same time, I'm like, okay, they're adults, they can handle themselves. And then I quickly realized that everybody else, like all the other kids, most of them were like shit-faced drunk.
Yeah, literally,
like, just
so drunk out of their mind.
Gone. And me being like one of the only sober ones, I felt like I kind of had to like be the parent of the group. So I was kind of making sure everyone was okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, didn't you check up on my room just to make sure that I wasn't drunk or something?
So, but I mean, I mostly hung out in your room, and then there's this girl, I forget her name, I'm just gonna call her C, because I don't remember her name. But C, I guess she was like a dancer, and they were playing like dancing music, and then
like doing all the typical dance moves.
So I'm someone,
2016.
2016. So I'm someone who's like very like flexible, but I also like, I know that I can't dance, but I still just like move around because I don't get embarrassed by it. But I am good at like certain flexible type things. So like I was doing it, and then C and I were like, oh, you know, like can you do this move? Can you do that move? Kind of just like having fun. And then there was this other girl named Crazy. Obviously not a real name, but she is a crazy bitch. And
so crazy.
Crazy, completely drunk, has a boyfriend, but I guess just doesn't care about him. And I'm like walking out of Kianna's room, and she like stops at the doorway, and she's going like this on the doorway, leaning. And I'm like startled. I'm like, what's up? She's like, puts her like go like this to my chest.
She was in the room with us when Alec and C were dancing.
Yeah. So so she goes like to my chest or whatever, like rubbing it, and I'm like weirded out. And she's like, can you teach me to be sexy, Alec? And I'm like, whoa, like, okay. I like take her hand and like pull it off me, and I'm like, you're drunk, you need to go to your room. And she's like, no, I don't want to. And she's like, kind of like trying to seduce me to do something. And I'm like, Crazy, like you need, like I'm not talking to you, you're drunk, like you need to go to your room. And she's like, no, please. After like a minute, I mean, it felt longer, but it was after like a minute of me trying to convince her to go to her room. I'm just like, all right, you know, you don't want to go to your room, that's fine. I'm gonna go to my room. Like, you do what you want. Like, I've tried to help you. And she's like, no, but like I want to go with you. I'm like, you're not coming with me. So I go to my room and she's following me, and then luckily,
literally following.
Luckily Frank was there, and Frank just didn't give a and he was like, no, crazy, you're not coming in here, and just like closed the door on her. So I'm like, thank you, bro. And then about like 20 minutes goes by, and I'm like, okay, I feel like we need to check up on some people. And I hear like this loud bang on my door, and I'm like, so I open the door, and it's crazy, and she's running down the hall, just banging on every door.
Every door, like people that like aren't part of the trip, like normal adults just trying to enjoy their vacation, literally just banging on the doors.
Yeah, so I'm like, bro, like this girl is crazy. Hence the name, crazy.
Crazy.
I forget what she goes to some room, probably passes out because she's so drunk. I started hearing this really loud laughing coming from Kianna's room, and I go into her room.
Meanwhile, this whole entire trip, my room was always the relaxed room that like doesn't do anything, doesn't get in trouble. You can't hear a peep out of the room. Like it's just normal conversations, relaxing room. And then this happens.
I hear all this laughing from the room, and I'm like, okay, you know, it's like 11:15 right now. Keep in mind, Tom and Bob still haven't heard a thing from them. Supposed to have been back at the hotel an hour and 15 minutes ago. So I go down to their room, and I'm like, oh, what's all the laughing about? And what's his name? Chandler, my other roommate, is like standing on the balcony and just like dying of laughter. And everyone, like, there's some kids in there, and they're all laughing.
There's a pretty good amount of kids.
Yeah, and I'm like,
probably 8 kids.
I'm like, what happened? And then I don't know what he threw. I don't remember. But
it was a plastic bag.
A plastic? Wasn't
so
it
no,
he
told he said, watch Alec. He grabs out just a normal plastic bag that you would buy from like a store, like you would get a plastic bag to put your stuff in. He goes, runs to my bathroom, fills it with water, ties it, runs, and chucks it out of the balcony. Yeah. And it like boom, like makes this giant noise.
And then I remember this was honestly like the funniest thing in the night to me. I was standing on the balcony, and each room had a balcony, and all of us were lined up in a line, like our rooms. I remember standing on the balcony, and to the left was another room where I'm just gonna call her Jay, but it was like a room of, I think it was like
the girls that like were kind of like me, I know everything, like the bitchy girls.
Yeah, so Jay, I guess
the ones I didn't like.
Jay, I guess she got drunk, but she like fell in the shower or whatever. But she's standing out on the balcony, and I'm standing on this balcony, and then there's probably like 10 feet of just nothing, because you know it's a wall, and then their balcony, there's like a little ledge, I guess, but it's literally like this thick. And Jay's over there, and she's like, Alec! I'm like, oh, what's up, Jay?
Screaming, like,
she's
Alec!
Like, she's like, I just fell in the shower because I'm drunk. And I'm
First
like,
of all, why are you taking a shower while you're drunk? That's not a good idea.
And I'm like, okay. Like,
she was gone.
I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, all right. And I'm like, you should probably go to bed. And she's like, no, I want to come over there and hang out with you guys.
Yeah, she's like, I want to party.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. So I shit you not, she puts her hands on the balcony and starts to try to climb over it.
Literally, drunk ass shit face.
Thinking she's gonna make the jump from balcony to balcony. And then there was another girl named B, and I'm like, she was on the balcony and she wasn't drunk. I'm like, B, you need to pull her down. Like, she's gonna jump. And she was like reading something. She's like, oh my gosh. So that was funny just because she was so drunk. She literally was about to jump off a balcony thinking she can make the jump. Anyways, I go back to my room, and I'm just on my computer because I brought my computer, and it's literally 1 in the morning, and we have not heard from Tom or Bob at all. So I open the door, and I'm just walking down the hallways with Frank, and we're just checking up on people, making sure people are okay, and I hear the elevator door ding, and I'm like, okay, most of the people on the floor are like the kids from our hotel, from our trip, so. And I know all the kids are there, and in my head I'm like, okay, this has to be Tom and Bob. So Frank and I stop, and we look at the elevator, and it's kind of like a scene from the movies. Like, we're just like waiting for something to happen, and the doors go, and they open, but we're standing, like, the elevator's here, and we're standing on this side, so we're not looking in the elevator, but they just open, and then out falls Bob, like, on the floor. He just falls onto the floor, and we're like, what the f***? And then Tom literally steps over him with a pizza in his hand. Piece of pizza.
Piece of pizza.
That's a tongue. Piece of pizza. So he steps over Bob with a piece of pizza in his hand. And I'm like, shocked. I'm like, where have you guys been? And he's just like, he goes, what's up, guys? takes a bite of his pizza, and then just walks to his room like nothing happened. And then Bob gets up and like stumbles to his room. So I go to Tom's room, I'm like, bro, like, where were you guys?
It's like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, it's literally 1 in the morning, and he's like, I'm like, you told us you'd be 5-10 minutes behind us. And he's like, oh yeah, we went out to get some food, and we had a few more drinks. And I'm like, a few? Like, Bob just fell out of the elevator. Like, it's not a few. And he's like, yeah, but it's fine, like, we had a good time. And he's like, how's everyone else? I'm like, good. I mean, I had to like pretty much be the parent. And he's like, that's why I like you, Alec. Alright guys, well, we hope you liked our story.
Sorry for not finishing the food, and we always finish the food before.
I mean, yeah, but we don't get like a lot of food. Like, we should get like a table full of food and then just...
I'm not gonna eat for 4 years now.
Alright guys,
I'm full.
Thank you for watching. If you like the story, let us know down in the comment section. Please tell me what was your favorite moment or part from the story. That being said, we love you guys.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace!